Damn! So you didn't hear any sound. That was not cool. Yeah, I forgot to bring up the microphone back. That is the aftermath. If you are not streaming a couple of weeks, you forgetting things. Yep. So yeah, again, sorry about that. Let's just restart things. So yeah, again, hello and welcome to Alex Connects. This is MTG Study, session 66. Yeah, today we'll continue to study... Today we'll continue to study... Why there's notifications popping out? They shouldn't. Yeah, today we'll continue to study on sets. This is the MTG Study, again, like, yep. We're basically continuing to study on sets, and the reminder of this session we will play Magic Duels. Yep. So yeah, let's just go. So previously we finished on what we finished with. Forget. So yeah, for now we're studying Unhinged. The last card that we stopped with was probably a blood letter. Exactly that. So let's just continue with that. Damn, like, not streaming for 2 weeks takes a toll on you. You forgetting things. It's so freaking uncomfortable, like you beginning from the first time. This is strange. This is super strange. Yeah. Let's just drink a bit of water and continue. Or start. Yeah, first session definitely is going to be super shaky after a big break, but bear with me. We will focus and continue. So yeah, we started to study Unhinged probably a session ago, maybe 2 sessions, I actually don't remember. For the most part, the main thing that we concerned with is to just go with the flow and study new possibilities for new mechanics and other stuff. So yeah, Bloodletter is definitely the last card that we finished with, so exactly that. Yeah. So, like, as a reminder, the reason why I decided to start studying with ice unsets for the most part because they're pretty complex. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot one thing. Too many new things. I'm still adjusting. Yes. Yeah, I forgot to add a little bit of lighting from the left. That way, I be lit up a little bit better, because like all lights are going from the top and from the back, so nothing actually hits my face in terms of the lighting, and like I'm almost in a shadow. This one kind of adds a little bit lighting from the left side, so okay, so come on, man, focus. Yeah, it's super uncomfortable, definitely. It's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah. So, wherever. Yeah, we talked about why actually I'm studying unsets. Again, I decided to start with unsets just because they are pretty, like, first they're a little bit outside of the Magic. So they have kind of outside rules that not necessarily applicable to Magic. They a little bit more out there in terms of like mechanics. They're pretty crazy and pretty fun. This was one of the reasons why I wanted to go with something that outside of the Magic, and then warm up with these sets, and then it's going to be much easier to study regular sets. But the problem is that I'm having so far, they are super complex, because like if I would study just Magic, like Magic sets, regular Magic sets, I think it would be much easier, because I started with unsets. It kind of makes things super hard, because there's a lot of things that unsets have like, it's pretty hard to categorize them. And like, yes, we tried to categorize them in this crazy thing. I don't know, like we tried to gather them in some type of I don't know, groups for now at least, but it's still not enough. Like, it's still super unclear, and still a lot of work to do still. So yeah, like tearing cards into pieces, like of course that thing works only for something outside of Magic. That's why unsets are kind of unstable. Yeah, a lot of things that work with action out of the game action, such as, I don't know, speaking in the voice other than your normal voice, that could trigger some abilities. So like a lot of things that unsets have that I wasn't prepared for, and that's why working with unsets for now, like till this point, was pretty hard. But the more we go in through them, like this is the second unset. There's only 3 of them. Again, Unstable is the last one. So how many of them? Yeah, Unglued. We completely studied Unglued. We finished with Unglued. Now we're studying Unhinged, and then there's going to be the last one, Unstable, which was released not that long ago. So for the most part, this is kind of it. Let's just focus. Yeah, the reason why I'm talking about this is just to get back into the MTG thinking, because I didn't play necessarily Magic all this time. I didn't thought about cards and mechanics, so I'm kind of rusty, and I need to bring my head back into actual studying. So like, it's definitely going to be it will take me some time, so bear with me. Yeah, so yeah. So again, these sets are relatively complex. At least they are complex because it's pretty hard to generalize them somehow. Like, they are pretty over the top, and all abilities in these sets could apply to anything. That's why it's pretty hard to find something that could be placed in some type of category. That's why there's a lot of different variations. So yeah, again, for Unhinged, for the most part, by the way, with Unhinged, we started to touch on more and more like abilities that pretty close to actual MTG abilities, such as a kicker, such as a multi-kicker, flashback. We kind of established a couple of multiple abilities, or like pretty interesting abilities that we kind of created from regular abilities, such as Flashback X, that could allows you to, let's make it super close, that allows you to so this is a possibility of activating Flashback multiple times before exiling it, where each other activation costs more, which is pretty interesting ability. I don't know if Magic actually has this, I don't think, but this is pretty cool variation. So yeah, so let's just dive into, again, payback. For the most part, you may pay an additional cost as you cast this spell. If you do, put this card into your hand as it resolves. This is, by the way, one of the new abilities that I discovered for Magic. This is actual ability in older sets. Rebound if you cast this spell from your hand. Exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost, which is pretty cool. And again, upkeep right here is depending on a turn structure, could differ. Yeah. By the way, we need to make things a little bit more strict. I don't know. Yeah, and the last card that we kind of work with is blood, blah 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 blah. So yeah, let's just start with it, or continue with it. So this is a creature, this is a zombie. When the names of 3 or more non-land permanents begin with the same letter, sacrifice blood letter. If you do, it deals 2 damage to each creature and each player. This is interesting. Like, you tell me that and like, that's what I'm talking about. It's pretty hard to categorize or to generalize. Like, my main goal for the most part is to generalize things. So just take this ability and try to apply this ability to any game, not just Magic, like to any card game. Just kind of could become super problematic. So let's just paste it and try to somehow generalize it. So when the names of 3 or more non-land permanents begin with the same letter, sacrifice blood letter. If you do, it deals 2 damage to each creature and each player. Again, too many things. We need to... So again, everything that involves dealing damage, we're not going to put in here. If you do... So let's think. How we could simplify it. No. When the names of 3 or more non-land permanents begin with the same letter, sacrifice. Like, the only problem for this card, it's not established where this card, where this ability should be triggered. So, like, logically, it has to be triggered if it's present on a battlefield. So, when the names of 3 or more non-land permanents in play begin with the same letter, we need to sacrifice it, because of course we can't control it if it's in our hand. We can't control it in any other situation. So cards need to be revealed this way. So that means that they need to be in a battlefield. When the names of 3 or more cards except when the names of 3 or more cards except when the names of 3 or more cards except the names of 3 or more cards again, not every game has lands in it, so I don't want to like write except lands. Oh, come on. The wrong spelling. When the names of 3 or more cards except those that don't have limitations. It's so vague. It doesn't work. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations. By limitations, I mean yes, let's do that. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, again, it works on the on cards that limited limitations. Certain amount of cards that could be allowed. Acceptable number of copies of one card. Yeah, so when we're going to talk about limitations, I mean acceptable number of copies for one card. So except those that don't have limitations. In this particular instance, it's lands, and if it's not going to be lands, we could have something in our deck that could allow us to don't have limitations for a particular card. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, begin with the same letter, let's just player lose something. Lose something. If he or she does, if he or she does, let's just go with player. If player does, lose something. He or she can perform an spelling perform. Okay, let's just read it again. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, begin with the same letter, player lose something. If player does lose something, he or she can perform. No, this is actually just additional thing. We don't want to overcomplicate things. This one is more than enough. So it's pretty different thing from what we have so far, what we had so far. So When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, begin with the same letter, player lose something. Has to lose something. Triggered by a card action played. Yeah. So yeah, this ability kind of interesting. At least this is the thing that I'm seeing in here. I get that it works for the most part with 0 or more non-permanents begin with the same letter. So for instance, letter B in this particular point, then booster tutors, boss somebody, oh wait a minute. There's a lot of cards with B though. Blast, Bingo, Badass, Owl. Oh yeah, by the way, they are presented in a alphabetic order. Yeah, they present in alphabetic order. Not that many though. But it's not specified where. So, more non-permanents begin with the same letter. So it kind of could work even in game, not just. Interesting. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those, begin with the same letter, player has to lose something. Let's just duplicate it. I completely. Let's save, by the way. Control D. So yeah, we have limitations. We have when the names of 3 or more cards, except I kind of need to specify it with conditions. Conditions are met. Only in play. Yeah, today I'm pretty weird with formulating sentences. This is strange. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, begin with the same letter, player has to lose something. These conditions, these conditions are met only could be these conditions could be met only in play. Only with cards in play. Yeah, so this is, I think, pretty important specification. Like, these conditions could be met only with cards in play. Damn, I want to sleep so crazy. My eyes are burning. Yeah, one of the reasons why I decided to take a break from streams was I had a pretty awful sleeping schedule. Now my schedule is much better, but the problem is, like, I got to the regime of sleep, with the normal regime of sleep, but the problem now is that starting from, like, probably, so for now it's almost 11, not like half past, yeah. So pretty close to 12 a.m. the next day. I'm beginning to feel super sleepy. So this is something that kinda I need to overcome for a couple of probably days. Needs to be, have to adjust to it. Yeah, I'll just continue. When the names of 3 or more cards, except those that don't have limitations, begin with the same letter, player has to lose something. Okay, triggered by card action. Those conditions could be met. These conditions could be met only with cards in play. And limitations, acceptable number of copies of one card. Because again, if you have these cards in your hand, like if you're not playing with open hand, you can't, like, opponent doesn't know if you have those or not. So of course it works only in play, and it might be obvious, but sometimes it's not. Like, we need to specify it, because when it comes down to rules, we need to lay down these rules. Even if something is not super clear, we need to clarify it. This is one of the things. Okay, the next one is booster tool. Tutor instant. Open a sealed magic booster pack, reveal the cards, and put one of those cards into your hand. Oh, come on! Things are getting more complex. Like, why every freaking card creates a completely different mechanic? Like, this is kind of frustrating. And don't get me wrong, I love this. Like, the more new mechanics we have, the better. But the problem is, it seems so freaking slow. Like, I wish I could go through these sets much faster. Because I'm sticking on sets already for probably a month, and I wanted to go through them a little bit faster. And I get that the reason why we're going through them super slow, because each freaking card gives us completely different mechanic, or at least possibility for creating a different mechanic, which is pretty cool. But again, it seems super slow, and because I'm not feeling the progress of studying these sets necessarily, it makes me a little bit frustrated. And this kind of works with everything. Even when you're creating something and for a long period of time you're sticking in one place, at one place, and you're not moving so much, you will feel frustrated. This is the human nature. We need progress. We need to feel progress in order to move forward. And right now I'm not feeling this progress, because I'm going through one card and then sticking on one card about 15 minutes, and during the session, 2-hour session of studying on sets, I could go through probably 3 cards. And where is the progress in that? Please tell me. But again, it is the progress, but it's super slow, and you're not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling. Just you're not feeling fulfilled. My voice is killing me. My throat. Okay then. Whenever you open a sealed magic booster pack, reveal the cards and put one of those cards into your hand. This is actually pretty cool. Remove that card from your deck before beginning a new game. What? So yeah, these conditions are just the specifications. We could add this one. Oh, by the way, forgot to do one thing. Wait a sec. And I'm back. Yes, so for the most part, this is the thing. So the names of these cards. So let's duplicate this one. Copy paste it. Open a sealed magic booster pack. Like, this is completely outside of the game. Okay, what if game doesn't have any booster packs? What if the game just has, or have whatever, something. So like, I don't know. Again, it's super specific. You can generalize it any like. Of course I will, but I need to go through struggles. That's why I'm telling myself that it can be done, but I will do it eventually. So like, open a sealed magic booster pack, reveal the cards, and then put one of those cards into your hand. Remove that card. Okay, like when it comes down to removing the card from the game, this is definitely going to be our specification. Remove that card from your deck before beginning a new game. Okay, good. Open a sealed magic booster pack. Again, game could not have any booster packs in it. And if game doesn't have any booster packs, how we could simplify it without putting, like, you could use additional deck, you could use additional cards outside of the game and add one of them into your deck, something like this. But again, it's pretty hard to generalize. But we could go with open a sealed booster pack. And open a sealed game booster pack. Again, by game I mean, let's just, by the way, specify that booster could be anything. Sealed pack of cards. Sealed pack of cards. Sealed pack of cards. That's kind of it. Just a sealed pack of cards. Open a sealed game booster pack. We could actually go with the pack of cards. Let's just stick to the booster. Booster pack, reveal the cards, and put one of those cards into your hand. Poop, 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 poop. No, I want to sleep. It's beginning to yawn. Remove the card from your deck before beginning a new game. Yeah, this could be a pretty interesting ability. So for instance, if we would create a new game and we could implement something similar to this one, it's just work with interference. So we able to interfere outside of the match by adding something to the match outside of the game, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yep, let's continue. Let's just continue. Okay, Bosom Body. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain 1.5 life for each word in that spell's name. Oh, come on. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain. Oh, I wanna sleep. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain half of life. Not half, but like life for each word in that spell's name. It's even harder to generalize. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain life. Okay. Blah. I want to sleep. Where is it? I definitely will overcome the need of sleep in probably a couple of hours, maybe an hour or so, I guess. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain half of life for each word in that spell's name. We could keep it though. It's pretty hard to generalize it because we don't know how many cards we could meet with these type of conditions that works with health or that works with spells, with spelling, or with words in the card's name. So basically, the more words we have in the spell's name, the more life we will gain. It could be not just life. I think we could replace life with something else. Oh, come on, man. Okay, remove that card. No, this is from different one. Whenever you play a spell, you may gain life for each word in that spell's name. So if you have like two names, you will get, or two words, you will get only one life. If you get like three words, you will get only one life, or one life and a half. By the way, it's not possible. But again, for unsets, it's possible to gain half of life, not just full life, which makes things super confusing. I don't know. It's one of the things that makes game almost unbearable, because for Magic player, it's sometimes pretty hard to count. At least for an experienced Magic player, it's pretty hard to count how many lives you will deal to the opponent, how many damage you will deal to the opponent, how many lives you will lose. And when you add these equations, I don't know, to the thing that even more complicates things in terms of life counting, it just makes game not fun at all. So this is one of the things that I kinda wanna definitely stay as far as possible from. So whenever you play a spell, you may gain 1.5 life for each word in that spell, in that spell's name. The only thing that I will specify in here, whenever you play a spell, you may gain life for each word in that spell's name. What we could specify it. I actually wanted to specify something and I forgot completely about it. Get carried away. Oh yeah, I remember. Could work with gain so as with loss. Loss? Yes, it could work with gain so as with loss. with gain, with loss. So we could gain life for each world, and we could lose life for each world, or we could deal damage. Or result in in-game action, or result in in-game in activating an in-game action, as long as this action is countable, as long as this action deal with numbers, as long as this action deals with numbers. So again, what I mean by that, everything that involves numbers, for instance, like dealing damage, reducing the creature's toughness or power, reducing the number of cost, the creature cost, and etc. So as long as it works with numbers, it's fine. Yep. As long as this action is dealt with numbers. Exactly that. Okay, target permanent. What? Target permanent's artist becomes the artist of your choice until end of turn. Damn, I want to sleep. So, okay, this one is pretty understandable. But the problem is, again, it works with artists. We already established that Magic has, like, Unsets has these abilities that work with artist name. And again, I dig these abilities as an artist, but at the same time, when you're implementing those, it's just kind of, you can change. Okay, I know how to generalize it. You can change target permanents target card text Oh, wait a minute, we have something like this. I definitely remember that we had something like this. I'm not going to search it because it's crazy. There's a lot of things and I'm just going to forget what I were. So yeah, we definitely have something like this. So I remember that we had something that could, so we can change the name of the card on whatever we want. Shuffle, you have the ability to exchange life totals, move target counter. Game gives you a certain out of the game perk. Reveal a card, you choose one card, one type. Look to the target's player reserve deck. Ban one card. In-game action impacts all game areas. When a specific card comes into play, each player puts his or her deck. Each player skips a particular phase. Each player does not lose as a result. I'm trying to find it though. I think we need to adds a certain restriction for a certain card, remove a certain restriction for a certain card. Players can play a certain price for balance sake. No. Have the ability to use multiple targets. Have the ability to play any card. So yeah, you can play name with names. What? Card name, you mean? Named text could be anything with a specific area of the card text. So yeah, this is actually this one, kind of pretty similar. Name with names. Oh, name, it means action. Yeah, it's a verb. Let's specify that this is a verb because it could get pretty confusing. Pretty quick. It could get confusing pretty quick, which we don't want. Okay, you can play name with names in the card's text by targeting cards with the same name and taking certain in-game action to your benefit or to the opponent's loss. Yeah, this is actually the same. So the same thing in here, but the only difference, we kind of changing the name. Maybe it's not the same, but yeah, let's just add it as a different thing, and then we will definitely try to make things work. No, it's not unglued. We need unhinged. Too many things. Yeah, right here you just can play or name. You can play with the names in the card's text by targeting cards with the same name and taking a certain in-game action to your benefit or to the opponent's benefit. And at this particular point, we can change the target card's specific text to become the text of our choice. So this is the same as playing with the name of the card text. And again, named text could be anything with a specific with a specific area or of the card text. Yes, I think of the card text. Named text could be anything with a specific area of the card text. Artist, creature, flavor text, ability, mechanic, and etc. So yeah, this is actually the same. And the action, let's just add. Actions you can perform with this name could differ. Like for instance, exchange. For instance, if we changing one name with the other name, it could be like copying. What? exchange, copying, just copy. So basically a lot of layers could be anything, so yeah. So that means that we could just delete this one. Good. Continue. And of course it's activated by a tap in this particular instance, so of your choice until end of the turn. Bursting Blitz is unblockable as long as defending player controls 2. So yeah, let's just go through one last card before the short break, and then we will take a break. Yeah, starting from this stream and all my new streams, I definitely will try to take a break every hour, because it's good for your health and it's definitely something that I need. Okay, bursting bubbles, what? Beebles? Bubbles? Beeble. So this card is unblockable as long as defending player controls 2 or more non-land permanents that share an artist. Okay, again, thing that works with names and with the card name, but for the most part it's kind of a multiple thing. So yeah, it works with the card names, or with the names that could be present on a card, but it also works with something that needs to meet a specific condition. So we already have this ability: if a specific or certain conditions are met, you can perform a specific in-game action, or card could basically or card could like have or specific ability. We definitely have something like this, but let's just create something that could sound like this. So if certain conditions are met, a certain in-game action could be performed. If certain conditions are met, a certain in-game action could be performed. Okay, so like, wait a minute. One thing led to another. Yeah, for the most part, things kinda like that. If certain conditions are met, a certain in-game action could be performed. And again, in-game action could be performed action could be performed or ability triggered. This is one of the things. Yeah, that's enough. If certain conditions are met, a certain in-game action could be performed or ability triggered. That's fine, that works. So yeah, now let's just go on a quick break, and after a quick break we will be back and we will just continue to go with studying on sets. So we'll continue with card packer. What? Woody? No, not Woody. So, gotcha. Whenever an opponent touches the table with his or her hand, you may say gotcha. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty interesting, but we definitely will. I think we have something similar though, but we'll continue with that after a short break. So yeah, see you in a bit. So let's just take a break. And again, I'm forgetting to turn off the microphone. So like, since now I integrated a webcam into my streams, it's still going to be a struggle for a bit, I guess, while I'm adjusting to all these things. So like, we need to activate it, like microphone things and like, yeah, whatever. So let's just continue. So, gotcha. Whenever an opponent touches the table with his or her hand, you may say gotcha. If you do, return this card into the graveyard to your hand. Again, we have the same thing. So again, if a specific out of the game conditions are met, or opponent will act a certain way, you have to say a certain word. If you do, you need to return this card. From you will get some specific perk. So yeah, we're not going to put this one as a separate thing. It's kind of pretty clear. We already have this one, or at least similar. Parrot or ferret? Yeah, parrot. Carnivorous dead parrot. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice carnivorous Carnivores. Oh, by the way, I want to know how this word actually sounds. It's pretty tongue twisting.
Carnivorous.
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 Carnivorous. Tongue twister. Tongue twister. Unless you say it. Oh, wait a minute. No. I don't want to sneeze. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice carnivorous again.
Carnivorous.
Carnivorous death parrot, unless you say it's flavor text. What is flavor text? Save a kill spell to deal with this guy. What? So this is it. Save a kill spell to deal with this guy. What? Does it? Huh? It's translated. Oh. Save a kill spell to deal with this guy. It's just proper. Pretty cool. So yeah, I don't think we need to put this one anywhere. Again, you have to perform specific out of the game action in order to keep something in play. Yeah, this is just a basic, a specific cost that you need to play in order to keep this card in the game. And the only difference, this is just outside of the game. Other than that, it's kind of the same. Okay, continue. Let's just oh snap! This is awful art, or at least I don't know if it looks like a photo. It doesn't look like art at all, but apparently it's art. Of course, it's intentional, but it's so weird. Damn, it's so weird. Spells you play cost less to play. Okay, we definitely will acquire this type of abilities, so it's just basically reducing the cost of the cards. I think we could put it right away, and we will put it right away in spells closer to the flashback and payback and rebound, because we definitely want to keep all these spells in one, like. Okay, spells you play cost less to play. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Lost how much? Oh, there's 4. What is this number? Is this even a number? Oh, yes. It's barely visible in here. Okay. Spells you play cost less. Less to play. Number of cost reduced by the card's presence or card's ability. Number of cost reduced by the card's presence or card's ability. Exactly that. Continue. If certain conditions are met, a certain in-game action could be performed or ability trigger. Continue. Save. Okay, you may sneak Cheaty Face into play at any time without paying for it. But if an opponent catches you right away, the player may remove Cheat Face from the game. Oh snap. This is pretty cool. Like, and how the heck we could generalize it? Please tell me. Like, you may sneak. So, like, you able to play a card without opponent noticed unless he catches you. I have the ability to play a card okay, this is definitely a wrong spelling. Without the opponent's notice. You have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. Okay, let's think. You have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice, but you have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. How to properly phrase it or sentences it, since it sentences it. You have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. If you succeed, I hope this is a right spelling, by the way. Yep. If you succeed, card enters the play. If not, you will lose it. That's kind of it. I think more than we don't need to put anything else. This is pretty cool. Again, you have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. If you succeed, card enters the play. If not, you will lose it. The only thing we definitely need to add in specifications is the fact that we kind of have to play it super quick though. Yeah, but I don't know. Let's think what type of specifications we could add in here. You have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. If you recording, is that? Yeah. If you have the ability to play a card without the opponent's notice. If you succeed, card enters the play. If not, you lose the game. By the way, we definitely need to put some. If you succeed, card enters the play. If not, you will lose it. Yeah, no, I don't want to specify anything, so no, we're not going to. We're not going to specify anything. 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 Okay. Oh. Okay. Circle of Protection art. As Circle of Protection art comes into play, choose an artist. And then there's 2 activated abilities. The next time a source of your choice by the chosen artist would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. Return Circle of Protection art into its owner's hand. Okay, this is pretty interesting land. City of Ours. City of Ours comes into play tapped. Add 1 and 1.5 mana of any one color to your mana pool. pretty fun. But yeah, we definitely need to figure out what to do with this one. Okay, like, since most of the card games definitely will have some type of artist recognition on them, I think we could just add a specific ability that works with artist texts only. Artist name. Yeah, so artist name. This is a mechanic. That allows the player or players to artist name. Mechanic that allows a player, just add player. Mechanic that allows a player or players to work with, that allows a player to work with name of the artist, on card, and turn it into benefits or losses. I think they could work. Let's think though. So artist name, mechanic that allows a player to work with the name of the artist on a card, on the card, and turn it into benefits or losses. And let's just specify what benefits and losses could be. In-game action or ability. Yeah, we definitely could go with this one. Benefits or losses could be anything in-game action or ability. Kind of works. Okay. So we have about 40 minutes till we will switch into the magic duels. We kind of need to go through a magic duels and at least perform go through one quest at least, because after 1 a.m. Magic will add a new quest to the queue, and if we're not going to empty out the slot, we will lose the slot. By the way, during these weekends I lost a couple of slots, which was pretty not cool. Basically, when you're losing a quest slots, you're losing the ability to gain additional gold. So this is kind of a thing. Okay, so again, this land is pretty interesting. It just adds a 1/2 mana, 1 and 1.5 mana to your mana pool. We could, by the way, implement some type of ability, or not ability, but additional thing. Let's just add it. Let's call this mechanic, let's see how it's in English. Inferiority. I don't think that it works though. Yeah, let's call it inferiority though. Inferiority. Mechanic that allows a player to work with the number mechanic that allows a player to work with the numbers switch. No, mechanic not allows. That works with I don't know how these numbers are called in English, by the way. Like, what type of numbers? 1.5, like, incomplete, partial, deficient? No. Yeah, we definitely need to go through a little bit of a Google search. No, not this. Not this. Inferiority. Mechanic that works with numbers. No, with incomplete numbers. Let's just go with incomplete numbers. At least for me it's understandable for now. Then of course we will make things a little bit more understandable. And again, incomplete numbers, of course we need to create a specification what incomplete numbers are. Again, don't know how they called in English, and I don't think that there's a proper translation. Incomplete numbers. Not 1, 2, 3, and whatever, but with addition of one F, 1 5, or 1 4. So basically it complicates things. We could add this one as just one mechanic to get rid of it and or went with it, and we will know that even though I would probably not add this type of mechanic into my own games, but because for the most part it's just will become super annoying. But again, it all depends, because if we're going to have a game that will strictly work with I wouldn't say mathematical counts or something like this, but we definitely could put something that will create pretty interesting abilities that work with these type of counts. Yeah, so 1/2 mana of any color to your mana pool. Yeah, the next one is Collector's Protector, or Protector, really. Give an opponent a non-land card you own from outside the game. Prevent the next damage, 1 damage that would be dealt to you, or Collector Protector. This is actually pretty cool. If we will try to think, so prevent next 1 damage that would be dealt to you or collector. The ability to give the opponent something outside of the game for your own gain, this is actually pretty interesting. Yeah, let's add this one. You can give the opponent something in exchange for some perk. For some in-game perk. Oh, no. And again, in-game perk for the most part works with any in-game action or ability. You can give the opponent something in exchange for some for a specific in-game perk. Exactly that. Yeah, specific in-game perk at this particular instance prevent the 1 damage that could be dealt to your collector this turn, which is pretty cool. But in exchange you will give the opponent additional land. That's kind of a price to pay. Oh. Whew. Gotcha. Whenever opponent says creature or guy, you may say gotcha. If you do, return creature guy from graveyard to your hand. Again, we already encountered something similar, so not going to put it. Next one. Oh, this is complex. What the heck with this creature? It's upside down. Text. It has upside down text. Okay, Curse of the Fire Pigeon. Penguin, not pigeon. Penguin. Curse of the Fire Penguin consumes and confuses enchanted creature. What do you mean consumes in this particular instance? So, yep. Oh, hello there, Scuff-san. Didn't saw you. Hello there. Yeah, this pigeon kinda strikes me. So I know that Gwent has the ability to consume things, and if you consume a creature with 5, for instance, your creature with 1 becomes 6. But, or it depends what type of consume. If we have like multiple consume, we could multiply the amount of consumabilities. I don't know. But this particular, what means consume? Consumes and confuses enchanted creature. Trample. When this creature is put into a graveyard from play, return Curse of the Fire Pigeon from your graveyard to play. Yeah, art is pretty interesting. It actually looks like a duck from one of the cartoons that I remember from I don't know, Scrooge McDuck. Whatever. But this is a pigeon, by the way. Art for unsets are pretty strange. They are specifically designed that way to create strange feeling. Okay, this is pretty big creature, like it's 6/5. It costs a lot. But again, I don't get what consumes means in this particular instance, because Magic doesn't have the ability to consume things. So, and the thing confuses enchanted creature. So maybe it's just a play with words, and ideally what it means is we just taking control of the creature. We're either taking control of the creature, or we just making... Oh, wait a minute. But then it becomes a creature? So you cast this card as an enchantment, and then it kind of makes it creature 6/5. What the heck? I don't get it. Seriously, I don't get it. Creature pigeon. Trample. When this creature is put into your graveyard from play, return Curse of the Fire Pigeon. Oh. Oh. So this card enters the battlefield as an enchantment. Then after you enchant some type of creature, this creature kind of disappears and it probably replaced by 6/5 pigeon. And then after this pigeon will die, you will return this card. Okay, this is fun. But now, how the heck we could make this in some type of general thing? You can give the opponent something in exchange for a specific in-game perk. Now, that was previously. So, okay, card has two types. Cards could have two card types. Again, what I mean by card types is just for the most part enchantment, creature, and etc. So this is something that would definitely. Oh, come on! I hate when it happens. Okay, we need to find where this thing was. Okay, card types. Creature, enchantments, and etc. So basically, the thing about this card, it has two card types at the same time. But the tricky thing about this card is that second type of the card only activated by what? By what? Card could have two card types. Two, more than two card types, and each type but not in the same time. So, like, I know that Magic has multiple creature types overall. So, for instance, we able to have a enchantment creature or creature artifact or etc. So, artifact creature. So these type of things we definitely have. But in this particular instance, it's a little bit different. So card could have two or more than two card types, but not at the same time. And each type is activated logically. By in-game mechanics. Card could have two or more than yes, card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, but not at the same time, and each type is activated logically by in-game mechanics, by built in-game mechanics. Yeah, it's pretty complex. It could get pretty complex. Card types. Yeah, when we're talking about card types, it's creature, enchantments, and etc. And what I mean by "and each type is activated logically," one by one, by built-in in-game mechanics, built-in in-game mechanics. How it spells? Yep, built-in in-game mechanics. Card types, creature, enchantment, menu. Card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, but not at the same time, and each type is activated logically one by one by built-in in-game mechanics. Again, what I mean by that is you able to, so for instance, in the instance of this creature, we're playing this creature as an enchantment from our hand, but then it transforms into a creature once automatically added, and it just basically allows things to work properly. Like one by one. So for instance, this we can't play this card. Oh, by the way, since this card it starts as an enchantment and then it reactivates into a creature and then it could go back into enchantment, but it still has to have some type of a base card type. Card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, but not at the same time. One type as a base, and one type as a base, and each other type is activated logically after the previous one. By built-in in-game mechanics. Yes, that is work. Or yeah, that works. Card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, enchantment, creature, etc., but not at the same time, and only one type card types. Card could have 2 or more than 2 card types and one type as a base. Each type other each other type is activated logically activated transform 2 logically after previous one by built-in in-game in-game mechanics. Yeah, it's pretty complex, but it I understand it. Like, I know what it does. So basically this is how I understand this card, and I went into a little bit more complexity. I make it a little bit more complicated. Like, as I understand it properly, again, we playing this card as an enchantment. Then once we play this card as an enchantment, we of course enchanting a creature, which again involves built-in in-game mechanics. Then this creature becomes, basically this card transforms into a pigeon creature, and again consumes and then confuses enchanted creature by becoming this card. And now we have creature 6/5, even if we enchanted creature 1/1. And after this, so this is the first transformation. Second transformation could be, for instance, from the graveyard. So after this creature dies, it transforms into a instant that we could bring back from the graveyard for a specific cost, for instance. So again, there could be infinite possibilities with doing these type of things. So this is actually pretty awesome. This is actually a pretty awesome card. So we have about 15 minutes till the MTG till going into Magic Duels. So let's just go through a couple of more cards, of course. Again, this set has more cards than the previous one, so Unglued has a lot of cards in it, but this one kind of has almost twice as much, which is kind of not twice as much, of course less, but pretty close. And the only problem with this is, like, ideally we probably will, it will take us a little bit more time to go through this set, but I think we will go through this set a little bit faster, because as I said before, unsets are pretty familiar in their mechanics, and the more we will go through them, the easier they'll get. So it's just the way things work. Yep. So yeah, let's just go continue. Again, this card is pretty interesting. Like, the mechanic of this card is super unclear to me, and I made this like this. So like, card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, but not at the same time, and one type as a base. So for instance, again, this card specifically is enchantment as it's in its base. Then each other type is activated, transformed to logically after previous one by building in-game mechanics. Again, in-game mechanics for this particular, like, magic is enchanted creature. So basically this is an enchantment that we're using to enchant a creature. Then after this creature is getting enchanted, we kind of transforming this card into a creature. Then after this creature dies, we could bring this pigeon back from the graveyard to play. Oh no, it works a little bit differently. Now I get it. When this creature is put into a graveyard from play, return curse of the pigeon from your graveyard to play. But now as a pigeon, as a creature. So first this card enters the battlefield as an enchantment, and it just consumes a creature, or basically takes control of it. And then after this creature will die, it will be back to the battlefield as a creature pigeon. So yeah, now I get it. But it doesn't change the fact how this ability works, though. It's a little bit more maybe free, but it's kind of the same. So we'll keep it like that. So we'll keep it. Card could have 2 or more than 2 card types, but not at the same time, and one type as a base. Each other type is activated, transformed to logically after previous one by built-in in-game mechanics, and card types, creature, and enchantments. What? Okay, And we have time for a couple of more cards. Yep, so instant, deal damage. Yeah, this is the name for the card. Deals 4 damage to target creature or player. Gotcha whatever an opponent says deal or damage. You may say gotcha. Like, this gotcha ability kind of pretty strange, but since it's pretty repeatable, we constantly let's just name it as a mechanic, because it's kind of mechanic, or at least we could see this one as a mechanic. Let's place it in here. Gotcha! Mechanic that works with catching the opponent on a certain out of the game action. Gotcha. Mechanic that works with this with catching the opponent on a certain out of the game action. At this particular instance, this one will deal 4 damage to a target creature or player, and whenever an opponent says deal or damage, you may say gotcha. If you do, return deal damage from your graveyard to your hand. Again, the way that we could gotcha the opponent only if he or she says deal or damage, and that way we could do what? Gotcha mechanic that works with catching the opponent on a certain out of the game action. If successful, okay, this is definitely a wrong spelling. If successful, we getting a perk. In-game perk. If successful, we getting an in-game perk. In-game perk, any in-game action or ability. Yeah, because we constantly going through this gacha thing and it's pretty common. So why not? Okay, so next one is Flying Drake. When double header comes into play, you may return target permanent with a 2-word name to its owner hand. Okay, I don't think that we need to specify though. Like, it's pretty straightforward. It works with this within the in-game mechanics by and trigger for in-game mechanic is out of the game mechanic, and by out of the game mechanic I'm usually mean this one, so with the 2-word name to its owner's hand, or with the 2-word name. So the returning permanent to its owner's hands is in-game build mechanic, and out of the game mechanic is just basically work with the two-word name. So I don't think we need to put it into the map, into the mind map, because for the most part I don't think it's necessary, because it's kind of repetitive. We already have something like this, and like potentially I'm not seeing something like drastically new in this one. It's pretty clear and easy. So let's just continue. As drawn together comes into play, choose an artist, and creatures by the chosen artist get +2/+2. Again, we already established the ability with the art, so artist name, mechanic that allows a player to work with the name of the artist on the card and turn it into a benefits or losses. So benefits or losses could be anything in game action or ability. Again, in this particular instance, once we entering into play, we're choosing an artist, which is the in-game ability by itself, but the choosing an artist, like we're choosing something, usually we're choosing the opponent, or we're choosing a player, or we're choosing a card, or whatever, but in this particular instance we're choosing an artist. So it's just like the combination of out of the game mechanics there and in-game mechanics. It's pretty clear and easy. So creatures by the chosen artist get +2/+2, of course. The next one, so yeah, that's why we're not going to put it in the thing. So yeah, destroy target creature with a reminder text. A reminder text is any italicated or italicized text in parentheses that explains rules you already know. Oh snap, this is pretty cool. So destroy target creature with reminder text. Okay, reminder text is definitely awesome ability. Like, this is something that we definitely need to put in here. This is actually pretty cool. Reminder text, mechanic that works with yeah, and let's just explain what reminder text is, and it's in parentheses. Parentheses are super important. Definitely tell them. Reminder text, mechanic that works with reminder text. Which is any italicized text in parentheses that explains rules that you already know. And if you Minku destroy target creature with reminder text. So no, if successful, they already know. No, we're not going to put anything in here. Just mechanic that works with reminder text, any italicized text in the parentheses that explains rules you already know. By performing, by triggering, in-game actions, or abilities. Oh snap, I triggering in-game actions or abilities. Reminder text mechanic that works with reminder text, any italicized text in parentheses that explains rules you already know. Let's just put it just by triggering in-game actions or abilities. Let's just call it in-game actions or abilities. Any in-game actions or abilities. And I think it could be anything actually. So I don't think that there is a limit to that. Again, we could destroy target creature with a reminder text. We could do like almost anything that we want with the reminder text. Dumb Ars is going to be our next card, and it's going to be in the next session. So yeah, let's just put it in here as a reminder. As a reminder text. So this is our last card. So now we will go on a quick break, and after a quick break we will be back and we will go into the magic duels. Yep, exactly that. So yeah, let's just read it quickly. Donkey Barbarian. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose a flip, target opponent chooses whatever dumb Ars attacks this turn. Yeah, we're actually going to skip this one because again, it works with a flip coin. We already established most of the flipping coin abilities. They already in our map, and the difference is if we're losing a flipping coin, it's just gives the opponent a choice to attack or not attack, and that's it. So again, it's kind of pretty straightforward. Elvish House Party. Elvish House Party power and toughness are each equal to the current hour using the 12-hour system. Okay, that was it. Pretty interesting. So yeah, this is the last card that we're going to go through next time, because it's kind of interesting that it works with an actual hours system, so it's pretty interesting. We definitely will think about that. So yeah, I think on that we will kind of take a quick break, and after a quick break we will be back and we'll continue with Magic Duels. So we'll be back in a bit.